Welcome back, Hodlers. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite cult token. I mean, Cardano. If you do like this content, go to give me a like and subscribe to this channel for more crypto news and content. And of course, that's a joke. I don't actually think Cardano is a cult. I just think people say some silly things because people are really enthusiastic about the blockchain. But we're going to be talking all about that in this video and a realistic price prediction for where Cardano could go by the end of this market cycle. So first we'll go into some news for Cardano. Now, the number of millionaires that have been brought to life, that have been made millionaires from Cardano, has increased 173% as the ADA price hits all-time highs. Again, we have hit that surge of price, and we talked about this. We said exactly this, that once Bitcoin chills out just a little bit, Cardano is going to shoot up back to its all-time high, possibly even further. And we did discuss where I think it could go, roughly around the 315 to 220 mark is roughly where we could have gone. Now, we did actually hit one of those marks, not up too far, but there's still time to be had in the market, so I don't want anyone to get worried. Obviously, we're on a little bit of a dip right now, but don't worry too much. This article was calling for a $3 ADA, price correction of a $2.73 ADA, which isn't too far off of what's currently happening right now. But I don't think that we're really stopped at this point. I think we still got a lot more to go. Now, a lot of Cardano people that were made rich were really hodling, right? And this is the thing. A lot of people shit on hodlers and say, why do you hold the token? You're going to lose out on all the benefits. You should take profits. And yes, I agree completely with taking profits. I'm not saying anything bad about not taking profits, but you should at least have a bit of your bag allocated to hold for the long term, especially on a product like Cardano. A lot of people that regret selling Amazon at $200, $400 or $1,000, right? A lot of people that regret selling Tesla at $150, right? So that's the whole point of what I'm saying is don't sell your entire bag, sell little small parts of it and hold a part of the bag for the long term if you're bullish long-term on that project. And of course, I'm bullish long-term on Cardano. I'm also bullish long-term on Bitcoin. So take with that from what you will. But that being said, I do think Cardano is going to last in the space as well as a lot of Polkadot parachains. Now, we have seen this huge rise for Cardano over the last little while, definitely moving to that proof of stake foundation, bringing in smart contracts. Obviously, that's been big in the news. So obviously, there's still a lot happening within the Cardano space, Alonzo, smart contracts, and all that. And that has driven things to rush to the social engagement of Cardano. And we see a lot of this Twitter space, YouTube. A lot of people are maximalists too. There's maximalists in really any coin or any social structure that you can think of. It doesn't have to only be crypto. There are people that'll die on the hill that a Ford is a good car when clearly it's not. But hey, everyone has their own kink, right? Not kink shaming. So Cardano has taken over Twitter, and a lot of people see this as a cult, and this is one of the big things that happens with a lot of cryptocurrencies, with a lot of backing on Twitter and everything else from us, from the retail investors. I mean, we can be meme lords. If you look at the human race, even Elon Musk is a meme lord, and we're no more immune to that noise as anyone else. So some of us on Twitter can look a little culty, which gives issue to the actual project. But you really have to look past the project, look at what the team is doing, look at the code, look at where it's being invested, and look at how it's implementing and how it's fixing problems. And that is how you should judge whether or not you should invest in something, not if something's spiking up on Twitter. Although this is good news for us holders that are holding Cardano for the long term, because obviously we want sentiment to increase. Now, if we look at our daily on Cardano, obviously we're down a little bit right now because everything took a little bit of a tumble maybe a couple hours ago. So we're roughly down maybe 3.5% on the total crypto market cap. So I'm sure everyone has seen this little bit of a red retracement here. Nothing to be concerned of at all with cryptocurrency. This is totally expected. And obviously, this isn't a dip to be worried about. Most of you boys have been through this, have been through much, much worse than this little dip. So nobody's really concerned. But where could Cardano go? Because Cardano is currently sitting at $2.79, just under that $2.80 mark. Now, we did say roughly to the $3.15 is most likely where we could go, so we're not that far off. So obviously we made it around 290, 295, somewhere give or take in that zone. I do still think that we can make those numbers. Now, either or, if you think of stock to flow, we're definitely going up. We're increasing from here. Maybe a $5 ADA, maybe a $6 ADA sometime in September if you're considering stock to flow. If you're considering something more of a long-term time frame, we could be looking at a little bit more. Roughly $7 to $8 is roughly where I'm saying that we would most likely see Cardano peak at in a market peak. But right now, we're not looking quite at that. Right now, we're just fighting with certain levels. Now, one big bullish indicator for Cardano is we are still above our all-time high. If we draw a line in the sand of our all-time high, we're still well above it and have a lot of support. And this, no doubt, and as we climb above any line, right, and I'm going to take that speculation line because that means nothing, but as we climb over any line, regardless of how much support it has, it does have some support. So maybe it doesn't have a lot of support because we've only been above it for approximately a couple of days, right? So only been above it for a couple of days, been above this point that we were barely above. So we don't have a lot of support going up above this, but we do have support building the longer that we stay above this level. So the longer that we stay above $2.47 Cardano, or $2.50 if you want to round up, the longer we stay above, the more support we're building at that line, and the more ADA is going to hold. So realistically, the best thing for Cardano to do at this point is to take the L, take the dip that we're dealing with, just trade level for a little bit above this line, and then move back up later on, which most likely is what we will end up seeing. Now, of course, we could see dips below that line, but I don't think so. Cardano is one of those tokens that really holds a lot of support when it's able to get higher into higher highs. So we do see that here when it did shoot up a dramatic amount up to this level. It did hold a good amount of support up here. Now, we did get some dips, but we didn't really dip anything too concerning. So I suspect that roughly we're going to see a similar thing where we're going to beat the all-time high. We're going to consolidate for a little bit, maybe move up further for a higher price, and then eventually find some level ground. So that's most likely what's going to happen with Cardano. Right now, I'm not too concerned about the general dip because obviously Bitcoin has dipped a little bit and everything else is kind of dipped. And we do see Bitcoin actually looks like it kind of got rejected from our 50K just about, which is probably causing a little bit of a market tumble. But Bitcoin, this isn't the first time that Bitcoin has hit this kind of tumble. So Cardano is just going to have to deal. In terms of Bitcoin, though, we do see ADA lost a little bit of value on Bitcoin. And again, if Bitcoin bleeds, typically altcoins bleed as well. But this could be the catalyst for ADA to really shoot off against the Bitcoin value. So we could see this spark something big with Cardano, because obviously this Cardano chart looks a lot like the USD chart, where we're going up continuously, having a little bit of a retracement every couple of candles, and then continue going up. So nothing right now is telling me that I need to be concerned. We're still looking really bullish on the ADA BTC chart, and as well, we're looking pretty bullish on the Cardano ETH chart, even though ETH is roughly, or it did hit 3,300. Now it is down right now, and of course, because we bled, we went down a little bit. So we did get a little bit, but Cardano has built a lot of that value back up, and then is now fighting, being in the green against Ethereum. Again, I will say that this is looking really, really bullish on where Cardano is going to go against the Ethereum value. Now, a lot of people ask exactly how much I think Cardano could hit. Now, that is a question more for market caps rather than the actual price. Now, of course, Cardano has a higher token supply than something like Ethereum. So, for example, if Cardano and Ethereum had the exact same market cap, their prices would still be different because of the different circulating supply. Now, that doesn't mean one token is worse than the other token. Far from it, actually. Now, I do want to preface this with I don't really agree with many tokens that go into the trillions, but, you know, it doesn't really matter if something is more of a token supply than, say, Ethereum in general. Now, it does matter if it's deflationary or inflationary by essence, but those are whole nother tokenomics that we aren't covering in this video. But to guess the Cardano price, we're looking at the current price of targets right now. So we see Ethereum at roughly $370 billion for the market cap, which is quite large. Bitcoin is sitting at 900 billion, almost $1 trillion for Bitcoin. So these numbers are pretty big. Now, to identify exactly where we're going for Cardano, we need to identify exactly where we are with some products. So we see Ethereum and everything, and we think, okay, Ethereum has a realistic price target or a realistic market cap that we think Cardano could hit in the future, but maybe not right now, right? Maybe this is something as the market grows, as more money enters the space, Ethereum and Cardano just grow. Can Cardano hit the same market cap as Ethereum? And what would that look like today if it did? Now, let's say the market cap was at 380 billion, so just rounding up from the 374 billion that we did have. So 380 billion divided by the current circulating supply, which we see the current circulating supply is 32.066 billion. So divide that by 32.066. So that brings us to an 1185 Cardano if it hits the same market cap as Ethereum. So the next question would be, of course, when? When could this happen? And really, this is where I can't help you too much, but I would say that this is likely to at least happen in a market peak. Now, what am I basing that off of? I'm basing that off of some estimates saying that the total crypto market cap could reach somewhere within the $10 trillion mark in the near term. And if it does reach that $10 trillion mark, which is actually pretty doable considering how much money is out there, how much money can flow into the system. But if we do hit the $10 trillion mark, is it feasible that Cardano can raise by $300 billion when it's already at 89 billion? Yeah, I think that's actually pretty realistic. Now, of course, if we're talking about a shorter time frame like the end of September, maybe that price isn't so realistic. So I'd probably say a $5 Cardano is more in the cards, more likely. But if we do go through a longer market cycle and are able to garner roughly $8 trillion into the total market cap, or at least 300 billion, which is not that much, into Cardano, if we're able to do one of those two things, I think Cardano can easily hit this $11 price point. Now, again, I like to be pretty conservative on this channel, and I have said my calling for Cardano is more in line with the $8 Cardano. The reason why I say that is because I don't like people getting hung up on a price that they are never going to meet. So if you do hit that $8 Cardano, but don't hit that $15 Cardano, at least you've taken some profits, right? The reason why I give a lower number than what my expected number is, because say hypothetically Cardano does reach just maybe just above the $8 mark, and then spikes down, maybe gets a little bit higher, 13, and then spikes back down again. You're never actually hitting that tippy top price. So this is why I say if you dollar cost average out and dollar cost average, say on a daily or on a weekly, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel most comfortable, pick a percent, increase it as the price increases, decrease it as the price decreases, and that way you're getting the best of all worlds and you're not trying to catch a mythical top that you're most likely not going to catch. Anyone that says that they've actually caught the top is probably bullshitting you and you shouldn't trust them. But this is why I give a variation of price targets, because I don't want you to think, hey, I'm going to hodl until $11 Cardano, and then it never gets there and it reaches 8. But in my opinion, and I've discussed this a lot on the channel, I think 8 is probably a good target for Cardano. That's it for me. Hopefully this video was informative, at least for you to understand where Cardano is, where it could go. If you did like this video, go and give me a like and subscribe to the channel for more crypto news and content. And of course, happy hodling.